Welcome to Famora. Don't forget to subscribe for more shocking family drama and jaw-dropping stories. They told me we were broke, but I found a $500,000 trust fund with my name on it. On my 18th birthday, I thought life would finally feel lighter. I had a cheap cake, a stack of coins in a jar, and a head full of plans. I was washing plates after dinner when I heard my mother's voice coming from the hallway. Sharp, fast, scared. "We can't keep hiding it forever," Mom, Samira whispered. My father, Rashid, answered in a low growl. "She'll never know. It's ours now. We earned it." I stood with wet hands and a beating heart. "Hiding what?" I said, stepping into the hall. They jumped like I was a ghost. Mom forced a smile. "Nothing." "Don't be dramatic," Dad added. "You're always imagining things." Their faces looked wrong. The floor felt tilted. That night at my Aunt Farah's house, the family sang and clapped and cut another cake. During cleanup, Farah pulled me into the pantry. Her eyes were wet. "I can't keep this on my soul," she whispered. She pressed an envelope into my palm. "Your grandfather left this for you." In my room at home, I opened it with shaking fingers. A photocopy of a will. My name, clear as sunrise. A trust fund of $500,000 for me, accessible at 18. My chest went hollow. I thought of winters without warm coats, of bus rides that took hours, of school nights I spent mopping floors. When I confronted my parents, Mom laughed a thin laugh. That old man was confused. "You don't know what you're reading." Dad waved a hand. "Stop acting entitled." But the paper burned in my hand like a small sun. I saw every lie they'd fed me and every meal I had skipped so the gas bill would get paid. I stared at them. "You knew," I said. "All these years." "You knew." They said nothing. I went to my room and locked the door. I stared at the ceiling and felt something inside me harden, like glass turning into stone. For days, I couldn't eat. Every memory came back bright and cruel. The winter I worked at the grocery store until midnight because we couldn't afford heat. The college tour I skipped because we don't have money for the scholarship I missed because I had to cover a double shift. All while $500,000 sat in a quiet room with my name on it. I tried to ask again. "Mom, the will—" "We used it for the family," she cut in. "You like this roof? You like food? Thank us," Dad nodded. "Money ruins people. We protected you from greed." I looked at Mom's new bracelet, at Dad's shiny watch, at the nicer car in the driveway, at the remodeled kitchen. "It didn't ruin me," I said. "It ruined you." Aunt Farah came by with eyes full of sorry. "They used some to clear debts," she said. "They put the rest in the trust and never told you." I kept quiet. I shouldn't have. "I need proof," I said. My best friend Omar met me at the library. He was calm when I wasn't. "Feelings won't move a bank," he said. "Paper will." We made a list. Call the bank named in the will, check the trust number, bring my ID, copy the will, prepare to be told no. My hands shook while I wrote, but the letters looked steady on the page. A plan is heavier than panic. It keeps you from floating away. That night I heard my parents laughing downstairs. It sounded like the kind of laughter people use to keep walls standing. I put the will under my pillow and slept like it could guard me. The bank lobby was quiet like a library. My heart pounded so loud I thought the tellers could hear it. Omar stood next to me, hands in his pockets, pretending not to be nervous for my sake. "Appointment for 11, I told the receptionist. "Trust inquiry." We sat across from a man named Mr. Khalid. His desk was neat. His tie was straight. His eyes were kind. "I have a copy of a will," I said, sliding the paper over. "My grandfather. It names a trust in my name. I turned 18 this week." He studied the document, then typed numbers into a computer. He asked for my ID. He asked a few questions. His eyebrows rose once, then smoothed again. "Follow me," he said. He led us to a small office with a glass door. He pulled a file. He placed it on the table and opened it. There was my name. There were numbers like mountains. There were letters from a lawyer who had died last year. The top sheet was an account summary. 5 to 12, 378.43s. I felt dizzy. The room went sideways. Omar gripped my shoulder. Mr. Khalid clasped his hands. Your guardians filed to delay disclosure until your 18th birthday. The fund is intact. Under the terms, control transfers to you today. Today, I whispered, as in, right now? Yes, he said. Right now. He slid papers across the table. I signed and signed and signed, my hand trembling but not stopping. When we finished, Mr. Khalid said, I'm sorry about the circumstances, but I am glad the truth reached you. Outside the bank, the air tasted different, realer, heavier. I texted my mother. We need to talk. She replied, at dinner. It felt like a threat disguised as a plan. At dinner, they tried to smile. Mom served stew. Dad poured tea. I placed the bank statement on the table. I know, I said. Mom didn't look at the paper. We did it to protect you. You weren't ready. You used me, I said. You used my ignorance like a credit card. Dad's voice went cold. If you leave this house, don't come back. I looked at the house they bought with debt I never knew about. I looked at the chairs we sat on, the plates I scrubbed, the floor I mopped until my fingers pruned. I stood up. I won't, I said. I packed a bag, 2 shirts, a toothbrush, a photo of Grandpa, the copy of the will, the bank papers. I left without slamming the door. I didn't want to break what wasn't mine. Omar waited in his car outside. He didn't ask questions. He just opened the passenger door and turned up the heat. Where to? He asked. Anywhere honest, I said. Years moved like a tide. I went to school because I could. I studied like my life depended on it because, in a way, it did. I learned about contracts and code, about letters that protect people from hands that grab. Omar and I started a small company that built simple tools for students managing small scholarships and family funds. We partnered with Layla, a sharp investor who said, I believe in scars that turn into rules. We didn't get rich, but we got steady. For the first time, my life was mine. One evening, my phone buzzed with a number I hadn't saved but knew by heart. I stared at it until it stopped. It rang again. I answered. It's your father, Rashid said. His voice was smaller. Your mother? She's sick. Surgery. We can't afford it. I pressed my thumb into the edge of the desk until it hurt. Why call me? A beat. Because you have money, he said. He didn't add because you are family, and I noticed the space where that sentence should have been. I walked into the hospital and found them in a bright room that smelled like bleach and lemons. Mom looked older. Fear does that. Dad looked smaller. Guilt does that too. Mom grabbed my wrist. I'm sorry, she said. We made mistakes. We panicked. Please, help. I pulled the old will from my bag and laid it on the tray. The paper had softened at the edges like skin. 18 years, I said. Winter after winter. Job after job. I thought hunger made me strong. Now I know it just made me quiet. Dad rubbed his eyes. We were protecting you. From what? I asked. From knowing the truth? They didn't answer. Their silence hung in the room like a heavy coat. I looked through the clear window of the door. Nurses hurried past. A child laughed somewhere down the hall. Life kept moving whether we were honest or not. I turned back. I'll pay the bill, I said. But not as your child. As the person you kept in the dark who found the light anyway, Mom cried. Dad nodded like a puppet whose strings were shaking. I wrote a check at the billing desk. I left a note under it. Paid in full. Don't call me again. When I stepped outside, the sun was low and stubborn. Omar waited by the curb, hands in his jacket. He searched my face. You okay? He asked. I didn't forgive them, I said. I didn't hurt them either. That's a line, he said. A good one. I didn't go back. They sent messages for a while. Apologies, explanations, little storms that didn't reach me. I didn't block them. I just let the words roll to the shore and fade. With Layla's help, our company grew. We added tools that let teenagers track small family funds safely. Alerts, audits, guardian limits the kid could see, lawyers attached to names instead of promises. We built scholarships in my grandfather's name with rules that couldn't hide in hallways. We wrote grants for kids who worked late and missed the tours. We gave them coats. We gave them bus cards. We gave them the one thing I needed most, a clear line to the truth. At a small charity event, I wore my grandfather's old watch. It ticked like a tiny drum on my wrist. I touched it and said under my breath, "I honored you." Layla raised a glass. "To rules written by scars," she said. Omar bumped my shoulder. "To never eating cold noodles again," he added, grinning. We laughed, the easy kind that doesn't try to keep any walls standing. Later that night, I walked home alone and sat on my bed. I pulled the will from my drawer and the bank statement from the file. I read my name out loud. It no longer felt like a question. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "I'm sorry." Farah, then another. "I should have told you sooner. I was afraid." "Forgive me if you can." I typed back. "Thank you for opening the door." I meant it. Without her push, I might still be washing plates in a tilted house, calling fear love. I laid the papers flat and pressed my palm over them, like blessing bread. Then I slid them away and opened my laptop to review a new contract for a 17-year-old whose aunt was trying to hide his small fund for the family. Not anymore. People think justice is thunder. Sometimes it is. But most days, it's a steady pen and a door that doesn't close when someone says, "You're imagining things." I went to the window and looked at the street lamps. They hummed like they always do, soft, patient, sure. I thought of my parents' laughter the night they lied. I thought of the bank officer's quiet voice when he said today. I thought of the line I drew and kept. They hid my trust for 18 years. I found it, and then I found something heavier and better. The right to decide who I am when the papers are finally in my hands. I turned off the light. The room went dark. The watch ticked on my wrist, brave and small. And I slept. No jars of coins by the bed. No begging lists in my head. Just the calm weight of rules I built from the ruins of their secrets. If you were me, standing with the truth in your hands, what would you have done? Comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more family drama stories. See you in the next video.